One is this conversation that you guys have been having about psychedelics. What I think is really interesting about it is the argument of the dangers of psychedelics is very real, but it often presumes poor practice.
Yep.
Almost always. Every time I watch the argument, it assumes that psychedelics will be used habitually or dangerously. When you're controlling for a lot of those things, the only real danger that exists with the types of psychedelics that we've been talking about is you won't be able to put your structure back together. But what I don't think people realize is that's a danger beyond psychedelics. That's just one of the dangers of life, that if something hits you that's really hard, you might not be able to put your conceptual structures back together. You know, if a loved one dies, can you push through it and piece everything back together? Because you're not going to come out of that the same person you were when you went in. You're not. And so I think it's really, really interesting, because I've been thinking about this a lot, and I'm like, well, our psychedelics are an inherent danger, even from the way Petkau talks about them, because they open you up to a realm that you're ill prepared for. And so, okay, what if negative spiritual forces use that as an opportunity to lead you astray? Okay, interesting argument. That's always happening anyways.
Yep. I know. Yep. I agree. I mean, maybe just take maybe a microdose the first time, like do a small step, like do the way you don't want to go too hard in the gym. You'll injure yourself if you go too hard in the gym.
There are some people who really, really don't like the idea. People who don't like the idea of making it some kind of sacrament or some kind of ritualistic experience in the church.
I'm uncomfortable with with it belonging to the government because I don't think the government will properly use it, and I'm uncomfortable with it being put into the capitalist market because I think it's the wrong incentives. You don't prescribe a psychedelic. You don't prescribe it. If you were to buy it, the warning label should have like a whole, you need to do this, this, and this in order to, before you take this. Like, it's not a warning label. And then the experience that you have is mystical in nature. So to me, there's only one world that can handle it the way it should be, and it's a religious world. It's a religious drug. It's a mystical drug, and so there is no other responsible place for it to go, I think.
Yeah.
The kids are going to do it anyways. Let them do it at home thing. We're not talking about drinking. Like, you question the nature of reality and see like that reality is not what you thought it was. And like for me, after I did magic mushrooms, and a lot of people report that it's what drives them to church and back into church, because they need to make sense of the experience that they had. So it I don't know, these two belong together to me. Like, and
this is not you meeting God. However, this is to give you a taste of what the reality is, that you are limited by your perception. There's a whole lot going on in the world that's beyond what you can comprehend. That is true. And you can get a taste of this with this experience. It will open you up, and you're going to need a lot of work being put back together, but then you'll understand there's a lot more to reality than just the way you see it. I don't know why you wouldn't do that.
You take like the hero's journey, the cross, the baptism, the going under and coming back out, and then the psychedelic experience. It's maps, like fractal. Yeah. So it's just it's uncanny. Mm-hmm. So I don't, I